All right, everybody, welcome on back to our afternoon meeting here this Thursday, October 14th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Just got back to my desk shortly after a haircut. Great to see all of our students here and trial members alike live inside the cyber group room. Got Chuck, Scott, Deb, Felix, Jeffrey. Got a bunch of us watching the GRVI stock tank a moment ago. Got BWEN on the stock on the screen here to begin. So great to see everybody. If you're joining us back today on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, as always, welcome on back. Now, I shouldn't always say as always. We always have new members joining us there on social media. So welcome on aboard all together. So BWEN on the screen to begin easily enough. We're going to put this on our watch list to start. Nice cheap stock, tight spread, moving up pretty steady at the highs. Hey, I mean, we said it back on Tuesday this week. RRD, I'll go back to this as many times as I need to. Just because the stock is at the highs heading into the close, it's not a lock. It's not a guarantee that it's just going to make this pop and run beautiful move up. Of course, that's the dream. That's what we would want. That's what we would expect, to be honest. But if it doesn't continue to pop higher, if it ends up, beginning to break a local support, go back to Tuesday's afternoon meeting. You would hear me say the exact same phrase. If this were to break below a local support level, a minor, smaller support level, we see some selling potentially. That actually could be a pretty good short opportunity, as it was on this stock here back on Tuesday. For right now, we're certainly going to respect this trend up to begin. It just broke back over 350. We'll see if this can continue to make the push up, but don't count out the short altogether, at least. So BWEN will put on our watch list either way. And alongside BWEN, I mean, come on. It'd be hard for me to not start off the meeting otherwise with the OCGN here. So, OCGN, we've been on fire with this stock dating back to Tuesday of this past week, really Monday afternoon, when it ended up running up pretty nicely for us there. We called it out yesterday even. So, yesterday heading into this meeting, we talked about it. I was in the trade. I told you folks, hey, I'm in from 860. We'll see where it goes. I don't always put every position I'm in on the watch list. It might just be kind of like watching the grass grow and more hope than anything. But I had real legitimate reason to be in the trade, and I was certainly hopeful. But once we were finishing up the meeting, the stock popped, and we said, hey, this could be a nice trade for us now at this point. It seems pretty interesting. And if it could break back over the opening bell print right off of 875, a couple of us in our coaching program, I talked about, that with just earlier today. Once it broke back over the 875, off and running she went. So, this was the best mover, or one of the best movers for us, at least from yesterday afternoon. Still hanging in there right now. I did take a small 6-cent loss just a moment ago, trying to anticipate a short. Ended up dropping down pretty nicely at first. I got back to my desk and then ended up making the push up. So, 1020, 1022 in particular was a nice level that I was watching from earlier this morning. So I took the short. It dropped down at first. I was doing all right, but I had my stop set right above me. So I took a dinky 6-cent loss here as it pushed up. Needless to be said, though, hey, if it's not going to break lower, then perhaps it'll push up. If we end up seeing more selling coming in on this trade for as much as it's ran up the last 2, 3, 4 days, even, you could say, it wouldn't shock me if we end up getting that short heading into the close. I was looking for the drop down to like a 975 level. So, we'll see. Either way, it just provides great opportunity. This one certainly, and also the other one here, BWEN. All right. All right. Well, let's talk about the stock that just tanked right now, GRVI. And, well, I had an order attempted to get filled here as we were beginning the meeting. Now, I was looking at a historical level. I'm going to pull my order now. I don't know where the stock's going to go at this point. But, the GRVI stock, man, I wish it was shortable. Ended up making a beautiful pre-market move early in the morning for us. Ended up popping a little bit after the market opened up. And from there, I mean, hey, it was right at its all-time high. Myself and Fausto were commenting on that earlier today during our live audio broadcast here. So you can show it on the daily chart, but the monthly here too. You can see dating back to June of this year, we ended up seeing the high once it's off its IPO at $9.37, $9.37, right? High of the day today, $9.36. Was a penny shy from testing that all-time high. Ended up pulling back, and then at this point we were really hoping for this to begin to break back over 9, begin to push back up. And hey, I'll show another loss I took on this trade, because hey, for the call outs I make, the vast majority of them at least I take as trades myself. So ended up breaking over 9. I jumped in and it was on smaller size. It was a 500 share half size position, thankfully, I could say there. But either way, the more important part is that I set my stop as soon as it got in the trade. I mean, it took maybe all of a millisecond, if that, maybe a second in total. But literally, as soon as it broke over 9, I was anticipating the pop, the breakout, the move up to 937, break over that, fly up to who knows where. Well, unfortunately, it didn't make that move, right? So if it's not going to break higher, there's only one other way the stock's going to go. Ended up just getting crushed right away afterwards. Now, at this point, though, before the big drop and the halt on the way down, as we kind of started the meeting off with there, it's to say that this stock wasn't tanking afterwards. It dropped off here, it tanked, but then from that point, it was pretty flat. So all throughout the afternoon, we kept our eyes on this stock. I got back to my desk alongside the OCGN trade. I was looking at the GRVI. I had a level on my chart at 820. I jumped in, ended up jumping out from that point, ended up chopping back down, but it was still kind of just there. It wasn't tanking at the time. But again, very similar to the trade-off of 9. If it's not going to break higher, there's only one other way the stock's going to go, at least in the moment. So why not get out, re-enter the trade if it gives you the chance to, right? The conditional word there is if, because this is where I took my loss. Ended up trying to get the next entry only if it were to break back over 820. Obviously didn't happen. So thankfully, I was not in this halt. So that would have been devastating to my week, really, and probably month. So, it's to say right now, this stock, I just think this is, done with, over with. I always say it anyway, when a stock gets halted on the way down, that's usually a wrap. That's game over. So, if there's a real need to come back to this stock, then we will. But otherwise, what we'll do, folks, is go right from top to bottom. Got a crazy one here up at the top of the gainers list. I know this is a glitch. It's first off $96, too expensive. Then secondly, like up 9,000, 10,000%. It's a trade station glitch. It's like a reverse stock split type of glitch there. So, if there's a real need to go to that stock, folks, if you check it out on your charts and you see it's actually worthy of being called out, let me know. But we're going to keep it going here. The NRXP, much more within our price range, pushing back up here right now. Ended up holding higher lows, basically from like 1285, then 1290-ish, broke back over 1320, and from there, holding pretty strong for right now. So NRXP, definitely, I would put this on the main list. Check back in on the daily chart. The stock's not breaking all-time highs yet, and probably not for a little while. But nonetheless, the stock's been on a huge roll the last 3 days. All right, so we keep it going. Grab my water bottle here. HBP, not much happening there. Just cheap stock, but pretty flat. Alfie, ALF, we're pretty familiar with this stock here. This one we ended up trading going back, I would say, well, chart shows, you can see late June. I was thinking more like May time, but late June, you can see this stock ended up taking off. It was a new IPO back then as well, so it broke all-time highs. This thing just flew up towards like 2022, ended up dropping, obviously. It's to say this, though, and we commented on this the exact last time that we ended up trading ALF. It was back here. I'd said, and you probably go back on that day's afternoon meeting too. It's just to say I say the same lines pretty frequently, but there's a reason. If we could even see this stock make a fraction of the type of run that it made back in late June, that would be a home run. I mean, this is still a little tiny compared to what we would want by the end of the day today. But with where it's at right now, in terms of near the highs, approaching resistance off of 7, we'll give it a look. And if not today, then maybe tomorrow, hopefully. And then if not, then we'll check in with it intermittently. But it's nice to see the stock back up another 16% today. All right, keep it going. JZXN, this is a known pop and drop stock, to a good degree as well. I mean, really more drop than pop. But yeah, new IPO dropped off going back into early June, probably there from like 40 all the way down. I'm sure at some point, folks, this stock is going to have, I mean, probably have some reverse stock splits at some point. But it's to say that I'm sure over time, it might not be this week, next month, but you'll find this as a huge runner at some point, and we'll be able to make money on it. This JZXN, we'll keep this in mind at some point. For as much as that stock dropped, eventually the short's got to cover. It's like GameStop, right? CETX from earlier today, and again, in terms of just making sure that you have a game plan set on every stock and every trade that you're taking. We were talking about this during the audio broadcast. Myself and Fausto did. I jumped into this stock shortly after the market opened up, right off of 120. 129 I got in at, and then from there it pushed up, made like 4 cents, not a whole lot, but it's to say that hey, I'd rather take the profit there. You can't go broke taking a profit. So by the time it pulled back, if I didn't get out ahead of time, would have led to a drop. Granted, it moved back up one more time. Look at where it's at now. So just you want to make sure you get out of the trade sooner than later. And if you feel even slightly uncomfortable with where it's at, if you're not sure, you should be sure. You should know the answer at that point, right? It means that you should get out, take the profit. You could always get back in if it gives you the chance. All right, just checking out the gainer side here, folks. Otherwise, I don't really see many other familiar names. OCGN we talked about already, of course. Oh, real quick, I had a chat from YouTube, and I'm just reminding myself of it right now. So, one of our members here, P Trader, just asking, "Hey, is there any news on OCGN?" So, real quick, I'll just copy and paste. This came out from 7:19 Eastern time this morning, and otherwise, we've been following it for the last couple of days or last few days. They're a vaccine stock, COVID vaccine stock. So I'll copy and paste some news there. I don't know why there's like the @ signs on there, so my apologies on that, but hashtag son, all that, I don't know. All right, so let's keep it going though, folks. We'll hop over to the loser's side. If there's anything else that's up, let me know. I got a stock actually right now that's popping. Deb just called it out in the chat board. I see it from Benzinga Pro. So before we hop over to the losers list, there we go. Beautiful. BBIG. Now, if BBIG is popping, we'll talk about this in a moment, but let's go right to ANY. Let's go right to perhaps an ATER. These aren't moving right now, so it looks to be just the BBIG trade. We'll check out BTBT, some other potential Bitcoin related stocks, maybe NFT related stocks. BBIG is one of those to a degree. All right, nice pop. I mean, obviously, this stock is skyrocketing right now, and we're very familiar with this trade, just as we are with the OCGN trade, just as we are with ALF as well, NRXP and BWEN. So, yeah, right now, let's just take a look. Looks like oh boy, talk about news here. YouTube first. Apparently, Seeking Alpha sets a $40 price target on the trade. That's such BS. I mean, if it hits that price, kudos to anyone that's sipping the Kool-Aid there to believe that as much. But the stock's $7. We see this happen all the time with some of these firms like Oppenheimer and whatnot. I remember Seal back a few months ago of $3-4 stock. They gave it a $15 price target. Where's it at now? So, oh my God, that's funny though, just to see the pump up afterwards. So obviously, the news that came out or the report entices a bunch of traders, and it's making a really nice push. Don't hold your breath for 40, folks. We love this here as a day trade move, but we'll see how far this gets us. 40 definitely is nice for us here as day traders because again, we're not expecting 40, but damn, if this can get up to 850, this can make a fraction of that type of run up, then that would be a home run. So we'll take it. Cool. We'll hop over to the losers list now, folks. That's so funny that I was like very blunt with my reaction there on the news, but it's true. Just geez, like you see that happen every now and then. Some of these firms, and not even a firm Seeking Alpha of all, announcing a $40 price target. Seeking Alpha could be very opinionated, like blog based at times, and you see some people make some like wacky claims of what stocks will do. And it's not as if they always pump up stocks like that to that degree, but you read up on some of their posts, like, geez, like, uh, how long have they been following the market? All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. I mean, really, the loser side, pretty blank right now. Not a whole lot that's really catching my eye, I should say. OCFT shortable at the low of the day, but not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute. All right, we'll hop over back to Benzinga Pro and I'll show you. This is just what I've been using right here. So here's the news on Vinco Ventures, BBIG otherwise. Here's my signals list here. So there's BBIG. Haven't seen much since. Prior to that, not really a whole lot. And that's fine, folks. I mean, hey, I'll tell you, we got 5 stocks on our list so far, so we're not at a shortage. We're pretty much right there. We're at a good list so far. Let me know if there's anything else up, down, left, right that you folks would want me to call out, check out here just before we wrap things up. Bitcoin tomorrow, but if Bitcoin holds where it's at right now, then I'll tell you, my lines are looking pretty good. Broke above and back under 58.5, one of our lines on our chart there for Bitcoin. SoFi from John, and thank you for reminding me about that. Actually, the reason I say that is because right before I hopped over to the losers list, from the corner of my eye, I saw SoFi warrants number 16 or 18. And I was like, oh, let me just check in with SoFi there at the end. I forgot. So I appreciate the heads up again. It's just, it's near the highs, right? Near the highs of the regular session. And it's been moving up pretty nicely across this week, too. So, with where it's at right now, I'll tell you, not too bad. We're not really at an excess of stocks as well. So, you know what? It's a nice side list stock normally, but we'll put some shine on this one here. It's near the highs of the day, and it was moving up across this week. So, if the stars align, this could be a nice run. From Gary, TIGR short. I appreciate that also because I think I looked at TIGR. I didn't even really comment much on it. So TIGR from earlier today got crushed, right? It was on our watch list. And with that, as soon as the market opened up, stock ended up dropping. I mean, I had no chance to try and short it at the open. I wanted to squeeze up and then the slam down. This thing just sunk like a rock. Now, heading into the close, Gary was saying is a possible short. Definitely is a possible short. Right now, it is pulling back down. Obviously, really tradable, down 21+% too. So, if it doesn't break lower, then maybe we do get a small dead cat bounce opportunity. I think it would drop though. That would be my first instinct. Yeah, we'll put this on the main one. All right, folks, I'll tell you what, we got to call it a meeting right now because GRVI actually just pulled right back down to a price level that I'm thinking about jumping in at right now. And I say that because GRVI, if this ends up making a bounce back up off of like 673-ish, then there's actually a little bit of a hope to see this make a small squeeze back up. So maybe I'll put this on our quote unquote watch list. And I like to emphasize that because, again, we're not forced to trade this stock. I may not trade this stock coming up. It may just sink below my line I just put up and just continue to drop. I'd move on from that point. But with the way this just shook down, I want to see right from that 673, it actually kissed it right there. So we'll see if this can make the bounce pretty soon. But if not, then otherwise we'll kind of throw this out. All right, folks. But otherwise, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube today, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. If you're interested in learning more about Cyber Trading University, you have a couple of options. First and foremost, you could always send over a quick email. Josh@ctutrading.com is my email. Any questions that you have about our call outs, about crypto even, let me know. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll talk about that. But otherwise, if you're ready to join us live inside our trading room, feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the banner below just to get yourself started. But for Chuck, for Gary, for John, for all of us there otherwise right now, I'll be back on the mic myself right at 3:30 Eastern. All right, folks, I'll talk to you all soon.